Welcome to this week's edition of Mountain Outhouse News. I'm your host, Jam Jam. This is the craziest to happen in running this week. This week's stories include a record for most 100s run in a year, another Arizona Trail speed record, and a breakdown chart of Camille's world record 24-hour run. We've been touching on this story all year, and we're proud to announce that he's done it, folks. Walter Handloser at the Pinhoti 100 this past weekend completed his 42nd 100-mile run or greater of 2019. It's been an incredible ride so far following along his journey, and he's not done yet. He's aiming for 50 by the end of the year. If you want to see all of Walter's races from the year and what's up next, check out his Half 100 Hundreds page on Facebook. Also of interest is his Buckleheads Guide to Ultra Buckles, Part 1 and 2, which chronicles the different makeups of the hardware he's scored throughout his journey so far. Moving on to the New York City Marathon, it looked like a great day of running out there in NYC. We saw Joycelyn Jepkowski come away with the women's win over last year's champ Mary Keitany in 2 hours 22 minutes 38 seconds. For the men, Jeffrey Kamwerer, a former winner, took the top spot in 2:08:13. Over 50,000 runners finished the 26.2 this year. More on the doping scandals surrounding Alberto Salazar and Nike Oregon project. According to a BBC News article, the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, says it will be conducting investigations on all athletes who have trained with Coach Salazar. Is it just me, or is it a bit odd that WADA hasn't already been investigating these athletes after finding wrongdoings from Salazar? The question remains, will anything be found? Moving on to some FKT news, we have a new women's best time on the Superior Hiking Trail, a 310-mile route in Minnesota on the shores of Lake Superior. Alex Elizabeth challenged the overall record set this September by Austin Nystrom by finishing just 4 hours behind his time in a new women's supported best of 6 days, 12 hours, 32 minutes. Alex pushed through some epic weather that even closed a few sections of trail towards the end of the route. Despite that, the folks over at Fastest Known Time have accepted the effort as the current FKT. Now back to my home state of Arizona, and for the second week in a row, we have a new FKT on the 800-mile long Arizona Trail. Helen Galarakis knocked off 2 days off the women's FKT, finishing around 17 days 10 hours on the Mexican border after her supported effort southbound. Heather Anderson's record is still the fastest self-supported women's time. Now moving overseas for truly a Herculean effort by Guillaume Arthus. He covered the Via Alpina, a 2,650 kilometer route across the entire Alps connecting 8 European countries. It goes through Italy, Slovenia, Austria, Germany, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, France, and Monaco. He just wrapped up his 44-day, 9-hour, 58-minute, and 11-second journey this past week. The previous best known time was somewhere around 60 days, which might have just been a rumor, supposedly. Reading some of his daily logs on the Fastest Known Time chronicle his struggles that I can barely comprehend, including 10 straight days of rain, lack of warm food, and just lack of food in general. Wow. Just wow. Okay, so this is cool. Thanks to some of the data geeks of our sport, we have some really neat graphs to mull over after some of these latest 24-hour records. Check this one out of Camille's recent 24-hour world record thanks to Bob Hearn and notes overlaid by Camille herself. So remember that massive positive split we reported on last week? Well, Camille admits to pacing herself for a 1,400-meter loop by mistake. The loop was actually 1,500 meters long. Whoops. That means her first 8+ hours was run at too fast of a clip from what she was planning on. Holy crap. She was running sub 7-minute mile pace for much of the first third of the event mistakenly. This played out over the course of the rest of her race, where she ended up taking a couple of legit power naps, one during hour 15, another around hour 20. There were pretty standard bathroom breaks, but also some puking, a visit to medical, some more puking, and a burrito, beer, and walking break. Wow, what a wild ride. All in all, she had 56 minutes, 21 seconds of stop time meaning if she had kept moving the entire time, she would have been closer to 175 miles based upon her average pace. Amazing. Next, on to a couple of races. Ultra Tour Mount Siguniang was a high-altitude sufferfest in China that is high on my list of races to check out. iRunFar's own Brian Powell took second in the 110K event, while Tim Tollefson won the 50K. Back in the US, the final qualifying weekend for Western States took many to Rio Del Lago, including race winners Christopher Harrington and Erica Hoagland. Erica set a new course record in 18:29, while Chris won in 16:29. A total of 239 finished. Over in Alabama, where Walter crossed that line of his 42nd historic 100, it was Susanna Bond in first in 23:42, with Bob Adams taking the overall win in 18:49. If you're still reeling from Maggie Guterl's performance from Big's Backyard Ultra a couple of weeks back, stay tuned. The 2020 edition is already shaping up to be bigger and badder. The first 19 entrants have already been posted on Ultra Signup, and not only will Courtney and Maggie be back, Camille is joining in, as well as Guillaume and Johan. Hot damn. If you want to taste yourself of this format and want to face off against Jam Jam himself, join me at the Across the Years Last Person Standing event with a twist on January 3rd, 2020 in Phoenix. We'll have a 1-mile race every 15 minutes until only one is left. We've got a special for the Outhouse Nation. Sign up this month and get 25% off your entry using code OUTHOUSE25. See you there. Coming off the heels of the recent 159 challenge, a group in Michigan decided to see if they could relay their way to a better time than Kipchoge. Cute. Well, it only took 45 runners chopping up the marathon on their local track into 210 200-meter segments to run a 1:49.22, but they did it. That's a 4:11 per mile average. The 2020 edition of the World Mountain Running Champs will be held at Heria Extreme on the island of Lanzarote in the Spanish Canary Islands. Of course, we'll have results from the upcoming 2019 edition taking place in a couple weeks in Patagonia. Thanks to Outhouse Nation viewer Chuck Malinsky for this sweet-looking outhouse he spotted along the North Fork Skokomish River Trail in Olympic National Park in Washington State. Remember to send yours in if you spot them out there. I'm going to be talking about it all month, but there will be a live edition of Mountain Outpost and the Outhouse News Show at this year's The Running event in Austin, coming up in just a couple weeks. I'll be at the Trailhead stage within the showroom floor on Thursday, December 5th at 5 p.m. If you're at TRE, be sure to add it to your calendar and make a showing. Sad news from Cape Town as trail runner Wesley Sweetnam was shot and killed during a house robbery. Wesley was an avid trail runner who competed in such events as the Otter Trail and was gearing up for a 38-kilometer K-Way Skyrun. Rest in peace, brother. And with that, thanks for tuning in to episode 170 of Outhouse News. The show would not be possible without the continued support of our Patreon supporters, who help with the production of this show each and every week. Join the Patreon crew at the link below for as little as $2 per month. Huge shout out to our $50 level supporters: Squirrels Nut Butter, Brian Sands, Base Medical, Ultramarathon Medical Care Online Course, Ultra Trail Blazers, Sean Trujillo, and the Twisted Fork Ultra out of Park City, as well as our $25 level supporters: Bluebird Running Company, Josh Goldstein, Carrie Savage, Renee Fine, Casey Carter, and Jeff Holbrook. Thanks for checking out the show, and we'll see you next time. If you have crazy stories to share or a question or feedback for the show, please leave a comment below. And finally, if you want to own this custom pair of Jam Jam sunglasses, complete with a signed certificate of authenticity, check out the link in the description. Have a shitty week.